How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. Today, we might have ourselves some genuinely interesting news, okay? These things, keep in mind, everything should be taken with a grain of salt, but I do think this information is intriguing nonetheless. So first of all, it all starts from this post on 4chan. Yes, I know it's 4chan, but it starts with this post, which quotes a tweet by somebody called Pokemon Observer News. Now, going to this actual page, to this person's page, their name is Pokemon Observer News, and they call themselves Seltzer. Now, apparently, this is a known person in the community. Some people know this individual, and they know that he actually is someone in the community. I think even Leaks follows them. So this is a known person in the community. Now, apparently, this person has received information about the upcoming games. So I'm going to scroll down here and see what they're talking about and go in order of what's being said. And some of this stuff is very intriguing. So starting off, first of all, is Pokemon Day, he says here. So apparently, there's going to be a music video revealed as a lead up to Black and White remakes in the style of Bad Apple with black and white transitions. Now, what he's talking about with Bad Apple is this music video right here that you guys can see. It's from a group, a Japanese group, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. But it is basically a track from Bullet Hell video game Lotus Land Story. So basically, it's going to be based on this, and that's kind of like the idea. And basically, this video, for those who do not know, it's just kind of like, it just basically shows off like, kind of like black and white silhouettes of characters and stuff. That's pretty much all it does. So I'm going to show you here what it kind of looks like without getting into copyright trouble. See, it's just all black and white. So apparently what he's trying to say here is going to be in the style of Bad Apple with black and white transitions. So apparently something along those lines like this, right? And there's going to be some way to kind of like lead up to and be a tribute to the new games. A tribute to the 9 Pokemon generations, apparently. Now, the song is unknown at the moment, but apparently, yeah, it's going to be similar to when they did the Pokemon, like, if you look up Pokemon, like, see, Pokemon, here we go. We're going to find, like, what that group is called. Like, Bump of Chicken, right? So it's kind of like this, right? It's kind of like this one that we had, like this whole, like, little music video thing. So something like that is what's being implied here that we're going to be seeing. But it's going to be in the style of, like, this black and white silhouettes and stuff. He also continues to say that it's going to be black and white remakes. No Legends game announcement. Okay, so he's just blatantly saying it's a standard remake. And that's it. Now, again, keep in mind, this is just a rumor, but it does seem a little bit more intriguing because of who's posting it. Of course, this person also is not guaranteed to be legit. I just think it's interesting that they're sharing this kind of stuff all of a sudden out of the blue. But I thought we'd just bring it up nonetheless. And let's continue down the rest of it. So this is a continuation. He says, Pokemon Day continuation. Explorers of Time and Darkness remake. I think a lot of people will be happy with that. Explorers of Time and Darkness. Explorers of Darkness. I guess people would like that. I don't see like that being necessarily a too crazy of a reveal. It would be sick. I'd be happy with it. But I think it would definitely make sense if we would see something like this. He also said there's going to be a Pokemon Sleep update with an exclusive Snorlax, apparently, which does make sense as well. Pokemon Sleep getting an update. Not too shocking. Continuing. Pokemon Masters and Pokemon Go event. Unsure. Apparently has no information on this. And then continuing. Pokemon Cafe Remix update. Make Pikachu lasagna. Whatever that's supposed to mean. Again, I don't really play Pokemon Cafe Remix. I don't really have a lot of context for the information that's being, spread about that game. Moving on, though. Here's what he has to say about the Black and White remakes. He said, Black and White remakes. Remakes of the first games. Okay, fair enough. Continuing. Developed by Ilka. Okay, that would be pretty nuts if they were to come back for another one. I mean, people really did not like BDSP, but it's still sold like it's sold like butter, man. Like, ew, just smoothly went through people's, like, pockets. So, definitely could be Ilka make another one. Been in development since BDSP released. Fair enough. Still made in Unity, which would be a scary thought. Continuing, 2 different versions of the game. One is being released to the West via Nintendo of America. Wait, what? 2 different versions of the game? One is being released to the West via Nintendo of America? That seems like... So, that's where it kind of loses me. 2 different versions of the game. What exactly would that even imply? Like, I don't get it. It says here, the Nintendo of America version is for Western audiences, includes changes such as rainbow flags in Castelia City. Japanese version will be used as base for international releases, such as the Middle East. Pokédex is Black and White 2. Pokédex National is Gen 1 to 5, with some other Gen Pokemon like Duraludon. Okay. Also, Blaze and Incineroar asked here, any new evolutions? And they say no. And yeah, it is a little bit weird, the implication of what this is trying to say. I don't know. It seems a little bit strange, okay? Moving on. It says that apparently Dream World will come back, but as an add-on to Pokemon Home, hidden abilities made much easier to acquire. Graphics are basically Pokemon Black and White, but with RTX turned on. Story is the same, and then finishing it off with post-game has areas from Black and White 2 as explorable areas and locations, I guess. So post-game has areas Black and White. Okay, so fair enough. Moving on. He says his personal opinion is that it's a letdown. Similar to BDSP, the Black and White remakes are largely the same mechanically. Not sure how this will work for competitive, but this means things like Weather Wars are essentially back. Lots of questions about rainbow flags and the North American version. A lot of it is subtle. Nintendo America was tasked with making the game more like modern-day New York and how it looks culturally and how it changed since 2010. Costumes from BDSP make a return. Apparently, pre-order bonuses are the protagonists of Black and White's clothing. Hairstyles also changes. So yeah, that just sounds like what they did with BDSP. Moving on, they also talk about, you should know this, Hun. They teach this during our first couple of days. And then here, he's just, basically, it's Pioro. Now, Pioro is an actual leaker. I'm going to talk about his post in a second. But, again, this whole post, again, this person's new. Their name is Seltzer. I don't know if we can trust them. They are somebody known in the community. They are followed by a few other accounts, which, you know, just made me intrigued because it is intriguing, okay? It's intriguing to see some of this stuff mentioned. Especially the part that gets me the most, like, intrigued is, of course, the first part right here, the music video. That's the part that gets me actually intrigued. Everything else is a little bit but that's the part that actually gets me, like, to think, like, oh, this could be actually legit. But again, take this with a massive grain of salt. There's no guarantees this is actually real. This person's just a random person at the end of the day. They could know something. They could know nothing. We'll have to wait and see. Nonetheless, though, speaking of Pioro, there's actually a thing about Pioro I want to mention, which is Pioro is a actual leaker. Now, this guy has leaked stuff in the past. I think we actually look at his profile here. We just open it up real quick and scroll down. I think we are able to see some of the stuff he's posted in the past. If we go far enough back, let's see. Scroll a bit down. So this was 2023. And if we go down here, like, for example, here, like, you know, let's see. I'm trying to find, like, a point where he actually... you know, might be saying something that, you know, is relevant. Let's see. Even my cat can leak a Nintendo Direct. Will soon air in September. Lol. But yeah, basically, this guy's an actual leaker, okay? It's kind of hard for me to find an exact, like, you know, point in here. Did your beans remind you of Applin and Dipplin? I don't know what he's supposed to trying to say there. But basically, this guy's an actual leaker, okay? He's leaked stuff in the past. And one of his tweets here, which is very interesting, is this one, right? Where he said, is Game Freak a partner? Now, what does he mean by partner is Game Freak a partnered, like, is Game Freak a first-party developer at Nintendo? Or is Game Freak a partner developer, right? Like a side company that isn't part of, Nintendo's umbrella, right? Like, they still work with Nintendo. Nintendo publishes their games, but Nintendo only owns a tiny part of, well, I say tiny, but like 33% of the Pokemon brand. At the end of the day, Pokemon is split between three companies, right? It's split between Creatures Inc., Game Freak, and of course, none else than Nintendo. Those three companies all own Pokemon together, and of course, there will be no point in which Nintendo can fully own it because Game Freak will never sell it. Satoshi Tajiri, the man who runs Pokemon, who created Pokemon, I think he still is the CEO of Game Freak, will not let that happen. I am certain of that. He will not be willing to give the full control to Nintendo because as much as we want to associate Pokemon to Nintendo, Game Freak, I'm pretty sure, aren't always the best fans of Nintendo and wish that their games were more known as Game Freak games rather than Nintendo games, because that's how people, like the general public, views it as a Nintendo game. And Creatures would never sell their stock. Like, to Creatures Inc., it's the biggest moneymaker, okay? However, what he's trying to imply with this is, if Game Freak is a partnered company, that means that when they do a partner showcase, right, when they do a Nintendo partner showcase, like if we just look up here, let's see, Nintendo partner showcase, because that's what they're called. So it's a Nintendo partner showcase. This is what we're talking about, right? So these things, right, Nintendo partner showcases is when they do these Nintendo Directs, they're all about partnered games. This is not about first party. This is not about Mario and Zelda and all the bullshit. This is specifically showcases that they do for third-party developers. Now, what does this mean? Well, basically, he says here, is Game Freak a partner? Yes, it is. And then he says here, Game Freak is a Japanese video game developer. Partner, and then partnered, I guess, with partner of Nintendo. And that's the actual post, right? You guys can see from actual, you know, Wikipedia, whatever, or from Nintendo Switch fandom. But yes, it's a partner of Nintendo. It's not an actual, you know, company owned by Nintendo. It's not a studio. Like, I think there are let's see, studios owned by Nintendo. Let's actually look up, like, what some of those are, because there is a decent chunk of them, to be fair. So you guys can see. For example, they own, let's see. They own the following, so subsidiaries, right? They own, of course, Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development, the Nintendo Platform Technology Development, the Business Development Department, and then the subsidiaries, that's the companies they own, is 1UP Studios, IQ, Mario Club, Monolith Soft is owned by them, ND Cube. They also own Next Level Games, Nintendo European Research and Development section, Nintendo Pictures, Nintendo Software Technology, Nintendo Technology Development, Retro Studios, as well as SRD. And I'm pretty sure there's some other stuff they might have ownership in, or that they are partnered with, right? So when they're talking about partners and a partner showcase, Game Freak can be included, but not for Pokemon. And this is where this post from none else than Centro comes in. Game Freak trademarked Pandland last December in Japan, so this could be meaning what it's going to be revealed at the Direct this week. Again, that Direct has not been announced. It is Monday still, so there's still some time to go before we actually get any proper announcements, right? Still some time to pass. But again, what I'm trying to say is that they do have a game in development. If you guys don't know this, let me actually show you. Game Freak, new game. Let's see, new IP. So they do actually have a new game they're working on. Actually, I looked this up a while back. But you guys see here, Pokemon Studio Game Freak is making an action-adventure game codenamed Project Bloom. And of course, they also, Pandland was something that they legitimately went out and copyrights, trademarked, or whatever you want to call it, just literally trademarked. And people are wondering if it's, Project Bloom, but Center thinks it's too soon, probably not. It could be, but yeah, again, they're the ones they're working on something else besides Pokemon. So what Pioro is saying here, is that possibly that other thing from Game Freak? Is it going to be, Project Bloom? Is it going to be this other thing that we're talking about, like, Pandland, whatever the hell that is? If we actually look up Pandland, Game Freak, like what even is Pandland? If we actually try to find it, Pandland, here it is from 12th January. This is a post. Let's see what it is. So here we go. It's a French post. Says the Japanese studio reserves a curious name accompanied by logos, probably their next game, but in which franchise? Japanese studio best known for Pokemon video games on the Nintendo console. Game Freak knows how to do something else. The developers behind slightly less popular titles like Little Town Hero, Giga Wrecker, and Tembo the Badass Elephant, which is still the weirdest one I've ever seen. And they registered Pandland trademark at the end of last year, as well as logos suggesting that this might be their next game. Is this a new Pokemon title? Unlikely. Again, it could be that what he's trying to imply here is that Game Freak will show up with something non-Pokemon related before Pokemon Day that they can announce during this partner showcase this week if it's actually happening. Keep in mind, it's all hearsay. There's no actual confirmed date yet from Nintendo themselves. So we're still waiting. We still have the rest of the week to see things happen. But nonetheless, though, he's implying we'll see actually Game Freak stuff showing up there. So that's pretty much where I'm going to leave that. What do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comment section down below. And let's move on to the next topic, which of course is going to be some really goofy stuff. So these things have been showing up on 4chan and on Twitter. Now, I would say like this, okay? Even though this end looks hilarious to me, this is probably just from BDSP. Like, this just looks like a modded version of BDSP. And I think somebody said it kind of looks like a little bit like Volkner's, I think Volkner's gym is kind of what it looks like, and it could be the case. But yeah, most likely this is fake. And same thing pretty much goes for this fella. I mean, he could be real. There's a chance this could be real. And if it is real, I would, I don't mind being wrong, I guess. I mean, I would be happy if it is fake. Because I don't think any of us want to go all the way back to Chibi's to art like this again. I just want Pokemon to look like it did in ORAS, to be honest, man. Like ORAS or even like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee have a decent art style for remakes. Like, for remakes, that's a perfect art style. Like, Let's Go Pikachu has a good art style for Pokemon remakes. And if we're going into the future, I want it to look like, One Piece Odyssey. That's a game that ideally I think it should look like. But nonetheless, though, I do think these are fake. I will say, though, this model is really good. Like, it's a really good-looking model. You can actually see the details on it are really solid. Like, it actually looks really good. It doesn't look too unrealistic. Like, this could be real. All hands down, this could be real. Now, I already covered the post that this one was included with. If we actually search this up on Google, I think we can actually find the post where this was made. It's on 4chan. Here we go. So it's this one, where this dude literally just said, Pokemon Presents will be shown on the 24th of the 24th. So he's implying the Pokemon Showcase would be on The 24th, so Saturday? That would be a bit weird. And then he said Pokemon Presents will show off news of Pokemon Go series, card game series, Scarlet Violet DLC, and will show off the new Pokemon Black and White remake. The remake will again be handled by Ilka and will look basically the same as Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. The remake will be called Pokemon Deep Black and Vast White. Actually sounds like good names. It will contain both Black and White and White 2, Black and White 1 and Black and White 2. The ending of the Presents will show off the next series of Legends games. This one is taking place in the Unova region. So again, this guy's hint is pushing all the way towards that Unova thing, right? With this included image, which actually is very similar. What he's saying is very similar to the post made by the Observer here, the Pokemon Observer News. Very similar post, very similar information, to say the least. However, this one said no Legends news. So I don't know which one of these is more believable. Again, I'll leave it up to you guys. But nonetheless, this I would assume is fake. There is a chance it's real, but I've seen people do crazy stuff. They have access to AI nowadays. They have access to, you know, like, just a lot of stuff. Blender is available everywhere, okay? It's very easy to fake stuff. But there is one that I think is really funny, which is this post right here. This was also shared by none else than Light. We're also going to look up this image itself and see if we can find out where the source for this one was. I think when I asked him, he literally just said that it was from 4chan as well, but I hadn't actually seen a post associated to it. And here is the actual post associated to it. If you go over to 4chan here, the only thing that this one says is revealed next week. The actual image itself seems to show Ethan inside of his room with a celebi just kind of casually floating next to him. Again, this image, what it reminds me of, and it might not remind you guys of this, but it reminds me of this, is the Lapras leak image. That's kind of the feeling I get when I see this. Because when people saw this one, let's see. I want to show you guys what I'm referring to. Because when people saw this one, people didn't believe it back in the day. Like, people legitimately did not believe this when it came out. I remember actually there was a massive whole discourse in the community about this image. So this is an actual leak. This right here in front of you, what you're watching right now, this is a real Pokemon leak. This is an actual leak of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. This actually leaked out. Maybe some of you guys are too young because you don't remember this. Maybe you were, like, still not into Pokemon just yet. Or maybe you just weren't, like, you know, a Pokemon fan at the time or paying attention to Pokemon leaks. But this was a legitimate leak of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee back in 2018. It's been a while now. We're in 2024, right? It's been a while. Well over 6 years at this point since this leak actually came out. But this was a legitimate one. And people thought this was fake because it just didn't look real to them. It looked too fake. Which is why I am hesitant to call things fake like this. Most likely it is, okay? 99% of the time it is. People, like I said, can fake stuff very easily. But nonetheless, I think it's interesting and it's a good thing to stay cautiously optimistic because anything is possible, okay? Also, if this was real, I'd love to know you guys' thoughts on it. Like, do you think it looks good enough? Do you think like it looks like dog shit? Like, where are your opinions in terms of what you think about this actual thing itself? Because personally, for me, I don't really know what to feel about it. I think it's most likely fake. I'm going to leave it at that. It's not real. I don't think it's real. Also, it feels a bit odd because why would the Switch be on the table and not here? Or where's the TV, you know? It's a Pokemon game. There's always a TV to play your home console, you know, or a shelf with your games in it. Instead, there's a computer. And as far as I'm aware, there aren't really any Pokemon games on PC. At least that's what I know. But I'll leave it at that. So yeah, most likely this one is fake. So a quick overview of what we have from today, guys. Of course, we have the Pokemon Observer News Twitter account, which, by the way, is also a brand new account. Keep that in mind. It is a literally new account, which just started in February this month. And again, you know, in terms of all the information that's being mentioned, it is all over the place. I'm not going to lie. It's a little bit messy, but again, we'll have to wait and see if it's real. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And then, of course, there is, you know, the whole pictures of all these other guys, like, you know, Jetsis and stuff. Like, again, keep in mind, most likely fake, but I like to stay cautiously optimistic by the fact that it could be. And also, if it is real, which it most likely isn't, but if it is real, how do we feel about this? Because I feel like a lot of people may or may not hate this. Like, I think a lot of people might hate the idea of going back to chibi art style because of the fact that, like, you know, people didn't like it in BDSP, and I don't think people will like it here, you know, like, you know, again. Like, I don't think people want to see this happening again. I think people want to move away from the whole chibi art style. They did it once. People didn't like it. Time to move on and go to the next thing. I feel like that's kind of the way it's being viewed. Again, I don't really know. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below on this again. And I'll thank you all guys for watching the video. And again, keep in mind, we might have a Pokemon, partner showcase of Game Freak being featured in a Nintendo Direct Partner Direct this week. Again, small chances. If it does happen, I will go live on YouTube talking about it, getting hype about it with you guys. Again, the Pokemon, by the way, day is only a week away, okay? It's on the 27th normally. So, guys, 8 more days. 8 more days. We're almost there, lads. It's almost time. Like about a week left, boys. Sorry, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys the next time. Peace out.